So I thought I'd go over a little bit about what I do and what I carry with me. I have, it's not a super complex setup, but it does work well. For now, I don't have a multi-battery setup in the 4Runner. I actually use this, which is a Minn Kota trolling motor battery box. So it gives me external terminals, which I can hook my battery charger to when it's at home in the garage. It gives you a quick check, function test button. And it is fused, or it does have a breaker anyway. It's got 12-volt sockets on either end. And what I tend to do is keep one of these voltmeters with, it's got dual USB charging ports and obviously a 12-volt socket, right? So a lot of the stuff we use at camp is running off of 12-volt sockets. So that's helpful to be able to have a USB charger and not lose the 12-volt port. Now this is not the best socket in the world, but it does work. So both of them work. All right, so here's a few other things that I carry with me. I usually carry just this box. And along with the extension cord, I have a 3-way splitter. So that gives me 3 power outlets that I can run off of. See, I've got a USB. This is pretty handy, right? A USB extension cord. So this gives me, what is this, 10 or 12 feet, I think, of extension to my USB, because a lot of the things, the accessories I have run off of that. I always keep some type of a headlamps around. I keep usually 4 or 5 of these around, one for each member of the family, and I always keep one in the console. I have recently picked up a set of these. It's got a pretty strong magnet on the bottom and a clip that can hang off of a nail or a screw head, as well as clip to, your whatever, clothing or something like that, webbing, nylon, something. I keep a battery box with spare D-cell batteries for my lantern, which I showed in the other video that I keep in my truck box. I usually keep a bunch of spare lithium batteries because I do have several lithium powered flashlights that I keep around, plus my normal daily carry pocket flashlight, which is a Phoenix, is lithium, and I have another Phoenix in the console, the 4Runner, that's a lithium powered light. So I like to make sure I can keep all those things running. I have this Duracell. It's an 800 watt 12 volt to DC to AC inverter. And this thing works really well. I've had this for a while, and in the wintertime, I will take an electric blanket with us. I have this electric blanket that has a digital controller, and it uses like 5 or 6 watts of power once it's warmed up, and just pulses on and off. Just comes on as it needs to. It's very low draw. I've run it all night and barely run any power out of the battery. It's kind of crazy. It's really helpful. We're sleeping in a rooftop tent, and we just take blankets in the tent instead of sleeping in sleeping bags. Without having to pack a ton of blankets or worry about anybody getting cold, I just lay that electric blanket across there and cover it up with a couple extra blankets, turn it on its lowest setting, and man, it's just, it keeps you toasty. Good to go all night long. So I tend to keep a lot of these around. I always keep one in a cigarette lighter in the front of the 4Runner because it gives me a reading on the battery charging system voltage and a couple of USB ports to charge from. I've got my let's see, I've got my inverter wires and some Noco accessories. All right, so a 12-volt socket splitter, I can plug it into my battery box, and then I can run a USB port. I can have another 12-volt socket. The CVT tent I was running ran off a 12-volt, and I would plug it into this. And, with this thing and that battery box, I have a lot of options. And this is also another 12-volt socket extension cord. So this gives me, I don't know, I think it's 10 or 12 feet. This is a light, a USB powered coil. I'm not going to get this. There's LED lights inside that. It's got magnets, so each of these sliding pieces has magnets in it, so you can stick to your vehicle or whatever, hang it from your frame. So for what it's worth, I actually like this thing a lot better even though you got to be kind of careful with it. It comes with a remote. And these are, just like called fairy lights or something like that. So this is just string of wire with LEDs all along it. And this is maybe like, what was it, 33 feet? Okay, so what I do with this is I string this in and, I'll plug it into the box and I will string this around my ARB awning framing. It lights up the entire area surrounding the ARB awning, especially, it's not especially bright, but at night it's a really cool ambient lighting. And if everything's kind of wound down, you just want to chill out and don't have bright lights going everywhere, then these things are really cool. And this was not very expensive on Amazon. So that's what I'm going to, oh wait, one more thing I'll show you. These are kind of cool if you want something for like emergency use. So these are LED flashers that are meant to be used as emergency lights, kind of like a road flare or something. So they've got a magnet and a hook on the back, and they are waterproof and they float, which is kind of cool. They take AAAs, so they do this red light flashing, and they'll do different type of strobe effects. Kind of a neat thing. I let the kids play with them at camp sometimes and stay on solid. You can dim it. It's got a white light too. I bought 4 of these in a pack on Amazon, I think. If you're on the side of the road, you don't carry road flares like I don't think a whole lot of people do anymore, maybe. But yeah, you can stick these to your vehicle, toss them out in the road, hang them off of stuff, whatever you need to do. And they do a good job of giving that sort of warning emergency light. So I've also run my fridge off of this 12-volt box for days at a time. So that's it for camp power, and that's what we do. This is all stored in this small box. If you have any comments, let me know what you think of stuff that I've gone over. What are you carrying? So if you like this stuff, subscribe. Anyway, thanks for your time.